Good afternoon, good morning, good evening to FIE's Conflict and the Struggle for Peace, Explorations in Ireland and the Middle East program. My name is Graham Hesp. I am FIE's Regional Director for Institutional Relations in the Midwestern United States. I also oversee the US side of the FIE Conflict and the Struggle for Peace program. Joining us today from FIE's London operation is our Chief Academic Officer, Dr. Julie Andruszak-Berman, and from the University of Arkansas, Fayetteville, Ryland Arnold, who was actually a student participant on the 2016 program. So over the next 30 minutes or so, we're going to give you an overview of the program. Dr. Andruszak-Berman will talk about the academic part of the program. We'll look at co-curricular experiences that go along with the two Conflict and the Struggle for Peace programs, and then the study tours. We'll chat about housing, health and safety, importantly, funding and scholarships. Ryland will talk about his perspective of the program, and then there is an opportunity for you to ask questions, and we'll answer them at the end. In your GoToWebinar main box, you should see a little piece there that actually allows you to chat. So if you have any questions in the moment, then you can type those right there, and then our goal would be that we will look at those and answer those for you at the end of the presentation. So, Conflict and the Struggle for Peace, Explorations in Ireland and the Middle East program is 5 weeks in length. You start in Dublin, Ireland, and then it continues on to Amman, Jordan. And the important thing to remember is this round-trip flight is included in the program fee. If you choose to stay on for the intensive Arabic language option, then this is an additional 4 weeks, and then you're in the program for a total of 9 weeks. Inclusions: academics, including a transcript from FIE's Academic School of Record. You will be met at Dublin and Amman airports. All of your housing is included, some of the meals in Dublin, most of the meals in Jordan, because of course you're in a homestay. As I talked about, your round-trip flight between Dublin and Amman. There will be a small travel stipend available in Amman to offset the cost of taxi cabs to and from Ahmed East, which is where you'll be taking your classes. The overnight hotel in Dublin is also included during the return flight part from Amman. So you'll fly from Amman back to Dublin. You'll stay in the hotel overnight, and then there is that you get to choose your onward flight back home to the US. So from an FIE perspective, a 2.75 overall GPA. If you're doing upper level Arabic, then you need an overall grade of B or higher in your Arabic classes. But please remember that your home campus may require a higher GPA and maybe some other prerequisites. So FIE, the Foundation for International Education, this is our 20th year of operation, and we are a London-based not-for-profit study abroad entity, and we have programs in London, Dublin, and then this amazing summertime program in Dublin and Amman. Our partner in Jordan is Ahmed East, the leading American nonprofit organization that has been around in the Middle East and North Africa since 1951. And so now Julie will talk about our anticipated academic structure and the co-curriculars.
Dr. Hesp, are you able to hear me?
I am, yes, thank you.
Oh, fantastic.
Right, so here we are. So we have a really exciting program. It is quite intense, but it allows the student to get really good picture of both the conflicts, relevant conflicts on the European side as well as the Middle Eastern side. And essentially, you'd be joining the group in Dublin on the 10th, and number of days in Dublin, and within sort of the around 11 days that you're in Ireland, you'll have several nights in Northern Ireland, and that's going to, again, be quite an intensive series of different visits to relevant sites, and then going to Jordan on the 22nd, and starting classes very soon thereafter. In both cities, it is about hitting the ground running. And for those students who are going to continue on for the intensive Arabic, they will do that on the program starting 15th and 16th of July. Students who are not doing that would be leaving on the 14th of July, arriving back in Dublin, and it's too long of the flights don't work to go back to the U.S. Straight away, so you would have a night in an airport hotel and then continue on to the U.S. via Dublin. And I am having some problems with my audio, so I'm sorry if I sound a bit out of sorts. Right, so that's the overall program. In terms of the academic study, there are two exquisite faculty that are involved with leading this program. Dr. Paul Arthur, who's our program director, is a preeminent scholar and practitioner of international conflict resolution. He's emeritus professor of politics and former director of the graduate program in peace and conflict studies at the University of Ulster. He worked on the South African Peace and Reconciliation Program and the Irish Good Friday Peace Accord. So he was right there. He's firsthand actually being part of the peace process, which makes his involvement in the program quite extraordinary. And in addition, of course, we have also a real star faculty in Amman, and that's Dr. Omar Rifai, and he we would consider a career diplomat, serving as the Director of Arab Affairs in the United Nations office in Jordan. Previously, he served as Executive Director for the Amman-based West Asia North Africa Forum. He served as President of the Jordan Institute of Diplomacy, Secretary General of the Jordanian Foreign Ministry, and served as a member of the Jordanian delegation to the Jordan-Israeli peace talks in 1994. And remarkably as well, he served as the first ambassador to Israel when diplomatic relations were forged between Israel and Jordan. And each of those faculty are leading a different course that are, very linked. They're very aware of what the other faculty teaches and have sat in on each other's courses. So you'll find that there's a lot of synergy. The course that you'll follow in Ireland is entitled Life Cycle of Peace and Conflict, Lessons Learned in Northern Ireland. And in Jordan, Conflict Resolution and Management Beyond the Arab-Israeli Conflict, because that is exactly what it does. It's going to take you to the heart of that conflict, but you're going to learn about the numerous conflicts that exist within Jordan, within the region. Right. So students who want to continue on, and I think it's a great kind of capstone, if you will, to the program to continue on at Ahmed East for Arabic language. And I think, as Graham already said, that's from beginning to advanced, with the caveat that if students are zero beginners, there does need to be a minimum enrollment. However, that generally is not a problem to reach that, but we will sort of acknowledge in your admissions letter that we do need to have a minimum enrollment to get the beginning course going. It's very intensive, and again, as Dr. Hess said, you need to be mindful that we need students that really have at least kind of a B level in Arabic. You just won't otherwise be able to be successful. It is intense. It's an excellent program, excellent teaching. Over 4 weeks, you're gaining credit, depends on your home institution, but credit that would be equivalent to a semester in most cases. And you're studying modern standard Arabic as well as Jordanian Arabic. And along with this intensive coursework, you could practice your Arabic daily, not only in the city itself, but of course you'll be staying with host families, and that's going to help you immensely, irrespective of your levels, to increase your proficiency in a relatively short amount of time.
Thanks, Dr. Julie. So, as I mentioned briefly as well, excursions, co-curricular experiences, and study tours are included in the program fee. So in Dublin, we typically start off with a political walking tour, so getting to experience the city, downtown Dublin. We have visits arranged to historic Dublin city sites, and in the past we've been to Leinster House, which is the Irish Parliament, Glasnevin Cemetery, and Kilmainham Jail. And Kilmainham Jail is a major part of the original Easter Sunday uprisings in 1916. As Dr. Julie talked about, we also have the excursion to Northern Ireland, so you actually get to go to the United Kingdom, another country. That includes a visit to Derry and Belfast. And while in Belfast, we go to Stormont Castle, the home of the devolved Northern Ireland Assembly. And we also do a mural tour looking on both sides of the Troubles, the Catholic and the Protestant side. There is a long tradition in Belfast of painting murals. In Amman, again, we start with a city tour looking at the ancient citadel high on top of the hill overlooking the city, and the Roman amphitheater. You may have seen a passing picture there. There is a day-long biblical Jordan tour, so going to Madaba, you can see that on the left-hand screen there, and that is an actual mosaic of the Holy Land, which was created kind of in the moment. So this is how we know about some of those historical areas talked about in the Christian Bible. We also visit Mount Nebo, which, if you know anything of Christian theology, is actually where Moses finally saw the promised land and then proceeded to drop down dead. And then again, as you see in the middle picture, swimming in the Dead Sea. There is then an overnight excursion to the south of Jordan and visiting the Bedouin of Wadi Rum Desert. And we also get to stay with the Bedouin overnight in one of their campgrounds. And what is for many students the highlight of the excursion to the south, it also includes a visit to the ancient city of Petra. So housing in Dublin and Amman is included, as I talked about. In Dublin, you will either be in purpose-built student residences, serviced apartments, or perhaps in a hotel. You will be responsible for some of your own meals. Some will be provided. Obviously, when we go to Northern Ireland, then you will be in hotels for the entire stay, and the majority of your food will be provided there. During your time in Jordan, you get to live with a Jordanian family, and they could be either typical Jordanian Muslim, or they could also be Christian, because Christian is the number 2 religion in the country as well. Families usually host 2 students at a time, and oftentimes you are eating with the family, especially on Friday, the holy day. You'll find that many of the families come together, and there may be a couple of you, and a couple of you may be staying with the parents who have been host family students with Ahmed East for 20, 30 years. And a couple of you may be staying actually with their children who are now hosting study students as well. Your health, safety, and well-being are of the utmost importance to us at FIE. Through your preparation, orientation, our friendly staff, we ensure that you're fully supported through your entire experience, all the way from pre-application, application, to being on the program. Both FIE and Ahmed East have extensive emergency response plans, which we will adhere to in the unlikely event of a city or countrywide emergency. Specific information is provided during both pre-departure orientations that you will participate in. During your stay in Dublin, you will have travel and health insurance by FIE's insurance carrier, Ensley, and while in Jordan, Ahmed East provides medical and accident insurance for all students through CISI. And in addition to the medical insurance, CISI provides high-quality political and natural disaster evacuation coverage. Once on the program, the FIE and Ahmed East program staff will help you deal with any medical issues should they arrive. And both FIE and Ahmed East have a list of recommended providers and hospitals in the host cities and in areas visited on excursions as well. In addition, while in Jordan, you will be provided with a local cell phone. In January 2018, so just last month, the US Department of State launched new travel advisories and alerts to make it easier for US citizens to access clear, timely, and reliable safety and security information about every country in the world. Jordan is currently rated as level 2, exercise increased caution. Please note that this is the same level as for much of Western Europe. The locations in Jordan that the US Department of State recommends travelers avoid have been classified as prohibited locations for all FIE Ahmed East students under our joint travel policies since the start of the Conflict and the Struggle for Peace program 10 years ago. All students planning to travel independently must submit an online Ahmed East travel information form in advance to traveling anywhere outside of Amman. But students should note that some home institutions have policies regarding independent travel, and you are responsible for making yourself aware of and abiding by your home institution policies. So how do we pay for it all? Importantly, next Thursday, February 15th, midnight Greenwich Mean Time. So depending on where you are in the US or where you are in the world, remember that midnight is based in London, is the FIE scholarship deadline for the Sharif Rahman Conflict and the Struggle for Peace Scholarship. This is a $1,000 scholarship that is available to you. And we would strongly encourage every single person, even if you're just considering the program at the moment, to apply for that scholarship, because by the end of February, you should know whether or not you're receiving one of those $1,000 scholarships. In addition to FIE scholarships, study abroad scholarships are available from a variety of supportive institutions, such as the Gilman International Scholarship Program, sponsored by the US Department of State. If you are staying on for the Arabic portion, then you can also apply for the Ahmed East Education Abroad Needs-Based Scholarship. And I would just encourage you to chat to your own study abroad office, talk to family and friends, and be applying for lots of money that is out there. Even if it ends up just being $50 from the local Rotary Club, that's $50 less that you have to come up with yourself. So we've done a lot of talking. Now let's hear from Ryland and hear about how he experienced the program and kind of what it has done to him over the last year and a half or so and overall experiences. Go ahead, Ryland.
Hi, thanks for having me, Graham. I loved this program. I thoroughly enjoyed my time on the program, and it really shaped my perspective on international and especially Middle East affairs. I had no previous insight into the conflict in Northern Ireland, nor the dynamic set of politics which were involved in it, and how it so deeply affected all parts of Ireland and the United Kingdom. I could not recommend enough going on this program, as especially because you will have the opportunity to spend more time in Ireland than our program was able to a couple years ago. I would really cherish the opportunity to go back through Dublin again and spend more time there and really investigate and explore some of the more historical sites that we were not able to visit. And I think one of the biggest highlights that I think I'll spend the most time on while I was there or while I was in Jordan was my time with my host family. I don't think you'll get a better perspective than listening to your host family, having discussions with them. Oftentimes, you'll spend a lot of time after dinner or after major meals drinking coffee or drinking tea with them. And I think those are probably, it's completely invaluable. There's no way that you could get that perspective or that insight without living with them and eating at their table. And I think that really probably informed my view of international politics, international relations, and maybe the role of the United States in international relations after sitting down with my host dad and host grandmother after meals. I was also able to learn, I took Arabic and was able to learn a little bit more Arabic while I was there. I did not partake in the intensive program, though I wish I had engaged with that part of the program. But again, I want to emphasize that it's an amazing and incredible resource if you are able to go and participate in this program. And I think you'll find it's the conflicts in Northern Ireland and the Arab-Israeli, as well as other conflicts with it throughout the Middle East, are very similar in some of their roots. And I just think it's you really can't find anything like it. So I would highly recommend you all go if you have the opportunity.
Question for you, Roland. What did
Sure.
you find that you learned from participating in the program? Sort of how did you better yourself? How did you end up as a result of being in this program?
Yeah, I think I very much saw the conflict in the Middle East as especially the Arab-Israeli conflict as a very one-sided affair. I was very passionate towards one side, and I think that there are so many different perspectives that it's hard to make it a black and white or a two-sided perspective. It's the politics and the of the Middle East and the politics of Northern Ireland are so complex. It really gives you, by talking to people and by visiting historical sites and by getting that in-depth perspective, you're able to see that it's much more complicated than that. And it has, each person's viewpoint is differently shaded, differently, is so unique to their experiences. Especially talking to our professor when I was in London and in Dublin, he had so many unique stories and so much insight into the conflict in Northern Ireland that I was really able to grasp how much conflict and how much war and terrorism can affect individuals in their everyday lives. I think that's probably what bettered me the most. I was able to see how painful and how deep the scars of conflict can be and how they continue to persist.
And then one question that we have, what was your perception? How did you feel, I guess, in Dublin and in Belfast as well, but especially in Jordan when it came to safety and security?
I don't really ever think it was a concern. I was never concerned, especially I think never concerned for my safety in Jordan. I felt incredibly safe traveling, riding in taxis. Felt that everyone was really warm and friendly, and it was able, even though I do not speak Arabic well at all. I was able to have good conversations with taxi drivers, and that was probably one of my other favorite perspective gaining experiences from the program. As in Dublin, I didn't ever worry for my safety. It's a very walkable city, very easy to explore. We spent a couple nights just walking around for a long time because, of course, like daylight, it stays light out much longer than I was used to. So we're able to explore and never really worried for our safety at all.
Okay, thank you. And again, as a reminder to everyone, you can ask Ryland some questions by typing them into the little chat box at the bottom of your GoToWebinar. So a couple of questions that came in already. So Julie, you touched on this, but how much academic credit can I earn for each portion of the program, and then including the Arabic piece as well?
Right. So it really does depend on the student's home institution. So it's hard to make kind of a, an overall comment about that. But what I can say is that many institutions would give, if you did both components of the program, would give a total of 12 credits. So it's essentially for the peace and conflict, 6 credits. We talked about having 2 courses, and those are 2 45-hour courses. And so most institutions would grant 3 semester credits for each. That's those institutions that are on a 3-credit system. And then for the Arabic, it would be then 6 credits. And the proportion of, again, it depends on the institution, but the proportion of teaching is 80% or 80 hours are taught in modern standard and 20 in Jordanian Arabic, to give you sort of a picture of that. So if you're doing both, 12, but 6 and 6. And, but again, check with your home institution. For students who are using our School of Records, that's exactly how many credits that they would be receiving.
Okay, thank you. I think, Ryland, you touched on this one, but a question. I don't speak Arabic. How will I interact with my homestay family?
Yeah, absolutely. So I was fortunate enough to know some basic Arabic phrases when I went to Jordan. But your family will be incredibly gracious for the most part, and I heard that across the board from every single person who was in a homestay when I was in Jordan. That they were incredibly eager to teach you words, and it still, even with that you may think it may be hard to get around via taxi without being able to speak Arabic, it is still fairly easy to communicate where you're going and to get a basic 1 or 2, maybe 3 or 4 words in your first couple days that will help you get around much easier. But it shouldn't be difficult at all. It shouldn't really impede your experience or the fulfillment of a good experience while in Jordan if you do not know Arabic coming in.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Julie, I can throw this one over to you, or I can answer it. Can I choose my roommate in Dublin and Jordan?
Okay, yeah, you can put a request in, and our on-site staff will do the best to honor that. Because we have often have students that don't know each other, probably more often than not, we have students that don't make specific roommate requests. So you can do that. I think the aim is to, like any study abroad program, is to kind of expand your horizons. And you're coming out of your comfort zone, so you have to expect that that's going to be part of your experience in every area, including your housing. So the more flexible that you are, the more accepting you are of people's differences, the better that everyone will find the experience. I think the one thing that we have found is that students might come into the program not knowing anyone, and a bit of bonding goes on when students are in Ireland, which is excellent. But then all of a sudden they decide they'd like in the homestay in Jordan to live with a particular person, and at that point it's too late. And the reason for that is that the staff will have been working for months, really, since your admission to the program, and the collection of the data on sort of your dietary needs and your Arabic level and all sorts of things that go into the very careful process of vetting families and matching students to families will have already taken place. So just to be aware, because I think that is the one thing where students kind of find someone when they're in Ireland that they just absolutely love to share the same accommodation, the same homestay family in Amman, and it's just not going to be possible to make changes at that point. And so I think it's good to understand that. I've never had a student come out of the experience thinking that their experience was in any way sort of diminished because they weren't roomed with their new best friend. You have so many opportunities in the classroom and outside the classroom to, hang out with whoever you want to. That you have to, I think, just kind of go into the program knowing that you're the best match has been made for you in Jordan. But like I said, or like Dr. Hess just said, if there is someone going into the application process, well, I think you're not actually asked until you're accepted. But in any case, when you are asked if there's someone you want to room with, please do give us that information, and that will be taken into account as best we can.
Sure. And then a couple of questions I'll just fly through. So Max is asking, is the round trip flight from Dublin to Amman and back required, or can I purchase my own ticket for the flight out of Amman to somewhere other than Dublin? Julie, do you want to take that one?
Can you ask it again?
Is the round trip flight from Dublin to Amman and back required, or can I purchase my own ticket for the flight out of Amman to somewhere other than Dublin?
Okay, gotcha. Okay, just for a second, that sounded like some sort of algebra question. There are two trains moving. So the answer is that FIE is booking, and as part of your program fee, are booking those flights for you. The flight to Amman, that's everyone's together. If I understand the question, you want to fly back sort of on your own, change that. You can do that. We recommend that you don't. However, if you want to, then we will connect you with the travel agency that set up the flights in the first place, and then it would be at your own expense to change the flight, as well as if you're going to the airport on a different day, whatever, and kind of the responsibility, if you will, for your health and welfare, essentially, ends when the program ends. So if you decide to travel within the Middle East or anywhere else, or stay in Jordan longer, that's you're responsible kind of for everything, and whether it's accommodation, whether it's food, whether it's your own kind of health and welfare. So it is possible. We would generally recommend that people stay with the program, but if that is something that you need to do for whatever reason, then we can put you in contact with the travel agency.
Brad asks a question. So we pay for our own airfare to Dublin, Jordan, and afterwards, correct? No, you pay for your round trip airfare from wherever home is to Dublin, using those program dates that we talked about. And as Julie just mentioned there, as part of the program fee, we will all be on a single flight out of Dublin into Amman, and then back again from Amman to Dublin. And remember, then you stay in the hotel at the airport in Dublin that one night, and then you would be on your own flight again back to the US or wherever it is. And then the follow-on from Brad there, accommodations are covered. Yes, everywhere you go, including the tent in the middle of the Wadi Rum Desert with the Bedouin, is included. Hannah says, I already got accepted to the program. I'm confused reading some of the pre-departure requirements, whether I need to apply separately to Ahmed East as well. So this is an overall acceptance. And so there will be some additional steps that you will take for Ahmed East. So as Julie talked about there, some of the housing steps and this sort of thing. But that will, since you're already accepted, Hannah, that will open up on the FIE portal, and you will be able to answer those questions on that exact same FIE system as you originally applied. Aisha is asking, is there a placement test for Arabic? At my institution, we do not have Arabic, but I have a history and exposure to the language. Julie, do you want to talk about how we ensure you're placed in the right level?
Yep. Yeah, there is a placement test. I mean, the questionnaires that I mean, initially on the application, we asked you some general questions about, and if you sort of learned Arabic kind of in the home, this might not apply, but we ask you sort of, what textbooks you would have used, how many, but any sort of information on your Arabic. So we get that initial perspective. And then it's our colleagues in Oman, of course, that are the experts. So they have a further questionnaire. So once you're accepted, they will have further questions for you. And then, yes, you do indeed take a placement exam so that they correctly assess your, where you need to be.
If you have not done so already, there is a very short, let's say, tiny URL, as the name implies, on the screen right now. So go ahead and just sign up for more information. I will then pretty much immediately follow up with an email with a lot more details, links to our website, specific answers to questions about scholarships and this sort of thing. So by all means, tinyurl.com/peacefie. If you're already in the application phase, you don't need to worry about that because you will be getting lots of emails from us through that automated system as the process continues. Next steps, ask questions. There is no such thing as a dumb question. This truly is an amazing experience, but it is a true study abroad experience that for the majority of us is taking us out of our standard comfort zone. So it's okay to ask those questions. Talk to your campus academic advisor. How do these particular courses fit in with my track for graduation? Do we have an idea what they will be coming back into on my campus? Talk to your campus study abroad staff. Are there specific steps that you need to take in order to do this program? Talk to your family. Initially, many people will be saying, oh, you're looking to go to the Middle East. It's okay to have those questions and concerns, but again, to remind you that Jordan is ranked as level 2 by the US State Department, the same as the vast majority of Western Europe. Remember that February 15th, next Thursday deadline for FIE scholarships. The deadline for the program is March 15th, but that is for FIE. And if necessary, check with your campus study abroad staff. They may have an earlier deadline for you to get approval from your home campus. Apply for the other scholarships. Talk to your own financial aid advisor. Once you're admitted into the program, there will be lots more information. There will be a series of pre-departure online orientations. And then towards the end of April, we will actually do a joint FIE Amid East live Q&A session. So be sure to have looked through all of those online orientations by FIE and Amid East, and then come to that Q&A session and we can answer any last minute outstanding questions. And again, go circular, keep asking questions. Please don't hesitate to contact me. I'm on the Central Time Zone. My phone number is there. My email is there. And again, as a reminder, scholarship deadline, February 15th. Application deadline is March 15th. And we have, I believe, one last question. So Madison, I will direct this to Ryland. But there's kind of a simple answer as Julie talked about the academic rigor of the program. Madison's asking, what is student life like on the program?
Sure. So other than studying, you are able to basically have the rest of the time other than in class to yourself. You're able to explore the cities in which you're in within a reasonable degree. I believe we were able to explore, especially Oman, very easily. And I know that, Graham, do they still allow trips down to Aqaba? Is that still allowed?
It is allowed. The challenge is, when you did this in 2016, you were fortunate that Ramadan was in the middle of the program. And so that allowed you that 4 or 5 day weekend.
Right.
Ramadan has now moved out of the program dates. And so it
Okay.
really is a standard Sunday through Thursday academic program.
Okay then. Okay, gotcha. Yeah. So you're able to explore other than Aqaba, putting that aside, you're able to explore, especially Amman, relatively independently, and really just find places that you want to explore. Obviously, staying within the city and all the restrictions that FIE has for good reason, and Amadis does as well. But yeah, student life is there's a lot to explore, and there's a lot to go see aside from the tours that they will give. And I don't know personally that much about Dublin because we only had 1 or 2 free nights there during my year of study. But I do know that there's a lot more to go to there, surely, than what we went to.
And I think that's absolutely key there, Ryland. It is an academically rigorous program. There will be a lot of reading and work that you will actually undertake before you even get on the plane to head to Dublin. So there's a lot of stuff going on, but there is some free time, and it really is because the cohort is traveling together from Dublin to Northern Ireland to Oman. And I talked about how some of you may be staying with multi-generations of the same family in different houses. There's a lot of connections that are occurring. Typically classes may be in the afternoon. And so I know the year I was there with Ryland in 2016, the students would get together at sort of 10 a.m. in the Ahmed East building and go over homework assignments and the readings and maybe order some pizza, and then classes would start in the afternoon. So
classes started around 2 o'clock, I think, and then we actually sometimes we met up in Mon's old district, or what's called near Rainbow Street, and there were a couple cafes that we were able to visit there as well and meet up. Especially one called the Turtle Green. For all of you that go there, the Turtle Green is a great cafe, really easily accessible.
But some absolutely amazing questions. Thank you for everyone who posted those questions. Like I say, sign up for more information using that tinyurl.com/peacefie, or feel free, just send me an email. That information is on the screen right now. And we look forward to getting applications from all of you. And with that, thank you to Ryland. Thank you to Dr. Julie Andruszak-Berman. And thank you for joining us, and hopefully we'll see you this summer.